Our Marine veteran Alex Martin joins us now. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. So clearly a whole lot going on when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz. But first, this new information regarding the Iranian mines, because lawmakers were reportedly told by Defense Department officials yesterday during a classified briefing that Iran has placed 20 or more mines in the Strait, and it's been difficult to determine where exactly they are. But clearly ships have been passing through the Strait using a safe route over the past few weeks. So first of all, how important is it to clear these mines, and how difficult of a mission would that be to do?
It's a very difficult mission that they're undertaking. We fortunately have an incredible, the greatest Navy in the history of human warfare. Undersea applications, subsurface, above surface applications for a wildly complex mission. Luckily, they're the most sophisticated to do so with our explosive ordnance disposal teams and all the surface warriors. So it's not easy, but it should be mentioned that this is against the backdrop of having destroyed Iran's air advantage entirely, having decapitated their leadership, having taken them out of the game with anything ballistic, having set back their nuclear program decades. And now this blockade, which is a stunning example of our naval supremacy, is choking them to the tune of $400 to $450 million per day. So this has to be all taken into context of broadly what's happening in this stunning campaign.
Yeah, and to me, what you just said last, I think, is the key part. Scott Bessent yesterday reiterating once again that Iranian storage facilities will become full in a matter of days. We're not talking weeks, we're talking in a matter of days. And at that point, that could cause lasting long-term damage to their oil field. So I hear that. I combine that with everything else you just said, how they are running at a tune of $450 to $500 million a day at a loss. At some point, the money will run out, and the prospect for future money from future oil is going to run out. They're going to have to cave, Alex. Am I right?
You're right. I mean, what we're seeing here is very familiar historically, right? Regimes like Iran, they do not respond to goodwill. They respond to pressure. When they feel consequences, this is going to cause them to recalibrate. So we're suddenly hearing about, restraint and possible talks. We need to be cautious here. This regime has a high tolerance for pain. They have a long record of stalling, and they're using, diplomatic tactics to buy time. So I think the real issue is whether this or not this happens. I mean, you're seeing the application of military, political, psychological, and economic pressure the world has never seen before. But in national security, the biggest failure comes, as you all know, is when we're misreading who we're dealing with. And it's impossible to trust this regime. Mm-hmm. So this will allow us time to get some credibility and intent measured of who we're sitting across the table to and measure that risk in real time.
So, Alex, Iran's Navy has been decimated. But yesterday, Iran says that it seized 2 ships in the Strait of Hormuz, apparently using these small, fast boats. Here's White House Press Secretary Caroline Levin on that, first talking about the ships that were seized. Listen.
These were not U.S. ships. These were not Israeli ships. These were 2 international vessels. And for the American media, who is sort of blowing this out of proportion to discredit the president's facts that he has completely obliterated Iran's conventional navy, these 2 ships were taken by speedy gunboats. Iran has gone from having the most lethal navy in the Middle East to now acting like a bunch of pirates. They don't have control over the strait. This is piracy.
Your reaction to that characterization and how difficult it would be to maintain control, take control and maintain it up the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, their naval capability is decimated. They're left with a few PT boats. They're conducting these small disruptive attacks. I fought Somali pirates. I was a part of the Force Reconnaissance Formation on a Marine Expeditionary Unit back in 2010. I boarded a ship with my Marines. We know how hard this is. We know how sophisticated of a mission it can be. This is not that. These are disruption effects meant to distract away from the fact that we are applying maximum pressure against this totalitarian regime, period.
Alex Martin, live for us. Alex, we thank you so much for your expertise and for joining us this morning. Thank you very much. Have a great day.